to advance their evil agenda. These forces tell us that we are now the subjects of the so-called Great Reset, the new normal, which is dictated to us by their manipulation of citizens and nations through ignorance and fear.
About the coronavirus.
Into a coronavirus quarantine facility.
11 people have died.
Coronavirus in Los Angeles, the nation's deadly outbreak.
The future is not just happening. The future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room. We have the means to improve the states of the world.
They used to call people who talked about one world government, they used to say, oh, it's a conspiracy. We would always say, no, it's in their mission statement. They say it at every meeting. That's what they're for.
And it feels like we're in a new world. We are going to be seeing higher energy prices, higher food prices for years to come. It seems difficult to see how this resolves itself very quickly.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker.
And again, I started by saying we're going to have a vaccine soon. I said it a long time ago, based on knowledge. I'm meeting with these geniuses.
We have to prepare for a more angry world.
Well, I think it's just trying to get a massive vaccine program started and getting off on the right foot. There have been a couple of glitches, that's understandable.
And I see the need for action. I see the need for a great reset.
They said the past administration did nothing for us. The administration before that did nothing for that. So I'm going to do it.
We need to accept that there will be some pain in the process. The pace that we need will open up for missteps. It will open up for shortages on energy. It will create inflationary pressures, and maybe we need to start talking about that pain is actually worth it.
Does the vaccine make you worse? And there are diseases in which you vaccinate someone, they get infected with what you're trying to protect them with, and you actually enhance the infection. You can get a good feel for that in animal models. So that's going to be interspersed at the same time that we're testing. We're going to try and make sure we don't have enhancement. So the worst possible thing you could do is vaccinate somebody to prevent infection and actually make them worse.
If it comes 10 years from now, we should have far, far better diagnostic technology. That is, be able to scale up every country within a month to diagnose their entire population. We're a little distracted right now.
This pandemic transforming the travel experience, similar to what 9/11 did with security. Health passports, proof of vaccination going forward is something that we really believe will be with us for some time.
We do need more money, but we don't just need more money for vaccines for children eventually. We need more money to plan for the second pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic.
So we're going to protect our elderly. We're going to protect especially our elderly with problems, whether it's heart or diabetes or any problem. It's like a magnet.
If you have a pre-existing condition, heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer, they're coming for you.
It's like a magnet.
To brush aside America's responsibility as a leader, and more profoundly our responsibilities to our fellow human beings under such circumstances, would have been a betrayal of who we are.
That very vulnerable area, they're vulnerable. It's not right, and we're helping them, and we have helped them.
You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
Some nations may be able to turn a blind eye to atrocities in other countries. The United States of America is different.
Because we always talk about SARS and we always talk about MERS and things like that.
How far should the government be pushing with the cooperation of the private sector to get people to get this vaccine if they're resistant?
And you've bit me. Heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die.
It's all about control. Every dictatorship has one obsession, and that's it. So in ancient Rome, They gave the people bread and circuses. They kept the populace busy with entertainment. But other dictatorships use other strategies to control ideas, the knowledge. How do they do that? Lower education. They limit culture, censor information. They censor any means of individual expression. And it's important to remember this, that this is a pattern that repeats itself throughout history.
What if history repeats itself, right, Mr. President?
Right. If you were flung back in time 100 years, I think you'd be very surprised at the similarities.
Try to catch up with these variants. Pfizer talking about tweaks as well in this potential booster shot, but this is a race against time.
But here's what I'm wondering. Are we just seeing history repeat itself?
And we don't have time.
Generally speaking, when you're talking about vaccine mutations, as I understand it, I mean, the virus is mutating to get better. To get more efficient, to get more contagious. It's some concern that in some cases it might also mutate to become more deadly.
So if you got your vaccine several weeks ago, then it makes it even less likely that you should have any concern at all. If you've had it within a few days, just stay heads up for symptoms, severe headache, abdominal pain, chest pain, things like that.
That if you are young and healthy, the chances of your getting a serious outcome are very low. That is a fact and true. However, there are now seeing a lot more young people getting infected.
Where in time and does natural infection go along with vaccination to have some weight in that point in time where cases really start to fall off the chart?
You do raise something in mentioning the variants that I want to ask you, because it wasn't that long ago we were told this was a race in effect between the vaccine and the variant. Who's winning?
You know, right now, that is a good question.
Are those two connected? Right. Could they be?
Well, they certainly could be. There are some rather strong similarities about this with regard to the time frame following vaccination.
But if the people get vaccinated, the overwhelming proportion of the people get vaccinating, that you have the unusual situation of a lot more infections, even if you're vaccinated. You're talking about millions of individuals getting vaccinated. So you may start seeing effects in some that might not have been picked up when you were dealing with thousands.
Is all of the ingredients that unfortunately make for a situation that is really terrible. So you don't want people who've just received the vaccine to be overly worried about this. This is a rare occurrence.
The vaccines that we're distributing now clearly can take care of that particular strain. Other strains or mutants or variants, as we call them, are coming up.